And this is This Week in Car Audio. Tune in. This Week in Car Audio. Tune in. We'll be talking about bass, talking about chips, talking about rings. You ain't got them, zip your lip. You got a problem you haven't found, check your grounds. The show about to start. Tune in. This Week in Car Audio. Yeah. Tune in. This Week in Car Audio.
Welcome to This Week in Car Audio with your host, the Judge, Doug Stockton, co-hosted by Mr. Internet Sensation himself, bringing the DV drag all the way to Texas for the first time ever as a satellite location, Mr. Jeffrey Fernandez.
No pressure. Just,
What's good, Jeffrey?
Nothing much. It was kind of a chill weekend. It was like I was looking at the calendar and I was like, there's no shows going on this weekend. Oh my God, for the month of September in Texas. So I was just chilling, just hanging out.
Yeah, so what, you guys need time to like build for finals or something?
No, maybe just a little bit of time.
All right. Well, so people that need to build for finals, let's talk about our sponsors real quick. eBox Design and Install. That's Eric Hansen.
Yes.
He typically in the chat there. And then we also have Stolman Transportation. If you need to help get your vehicle to World Finals, he could help you with that. And then Bass, Badass Sounds by Steve, another one of our sponsors. Once again, if you guys want to sponsor somebody who sponsors things that you like to do. Tell them that you've been sent there by T.W.I.C.A or This Week in Car Audio, and that will help us show them that there's value in what we do. All right, I haven't started sharing my things on my, what's it called yet? Let's see here. I'm at Kern County. I haven't shared them, so I can't see the chat yet. Still working on it. Anyway,
I did a couple of tests.
So what did you do this weekend, Jeffrey, besides just notice there was nothing to do?
Well, I mean, you kind of spoke about it a little bit at the beginning. I'm just gearing up for Texas first satellite finals ever. I'm just, kind of taking it in and seeing what, I can get to implement in, in Texas. So luckily, Celeste found an awesome venue. It's basically going to be plug and play. There was another finals there, I believe, not too long ago, and I think I'm just going to kind of go off of what they did a little bit. But just seeing little things, trying to figure out if I want to do 2 monitors or
12,
2 small monitors and 1 big one. I did this really cool setup one time where I did 3 monitors. It was like lane 1 and lane 2, and then on the bottom was the timer. So it looked like this huge big screen TV, but I might just do maybe just 3 monitors for this weekend. I'm not sure.
Okay. Yeah, I have a lot of monitors, so that's how I'm going to go about it. Andy Tusher says, first comment.
Nice.
Oops, there we go. Jeffrey's doing some there's Eric Hansen, eBox Design and Install. Steve Willis. Hey, Wayne, I don't know if you heard last week during our podcast, Mr. Steve Willis here. He is not going to be participating in World Finals this year. He's out of Sacramento. But he offered up $200 to help somebody that might not have the funds to go to World Finals. So
that's awesome.
I'm talking to a couple of people, and somebody may take him up on it. But I mean, awesome. He understands hey, sometimes people just don't have the funds to get to World Finals. So
struggle.
Yeah. So he's offering up $200 to help somebody out, which is awesome. Well, let's start off real quick before we get going too far. Our guest tonight, Mr. Wayne Harris, the owner, COO, but he's actually the number 2 person in DB Drag Racing. What's up, Wayne?
Hey,
Wayne.
thanks for having me.
Let's see. David Hunt says he needs clarification, please. Last year, it was freestyle, super street, or street stock 1K. This year, it's freestyle 1K, no wall. Does this mean that I do not have to have street stock vehicle in this year? Thanks. Do you remember what we decided on that one, Jeffrey?
I'm not sure what he's asking. So
Basically, when we do the power classes in that, the no wall power classes, we've been pretty much following along the lines of the DB drag classes, right?
Yeah.
So, like for street stock 1K, he would have to have a airbag, right?
Right.
But this is just freestyle 1K. So I don't remember what they decided on the rule for that. So we can look into it and I can post it. We'll post it later. You'll do great, Jeffrey. That's from Mr. Steve Willis.
Thanks, Steve.
Justin Stolman wants to know when we're going storm chasing Wayne.
Oh.
He was up and close to an EF4.
Yeah, that's awesome. I was storm chasing a few years ago, and you're in the right place when you pull up at a stop sign and it's the guys from the show, the storm chaser guys, in their extreme looking vehicle. So,
Oh, wow.
Here in Texas, you need to come in April, May, and June. That's the best time.
Okay, well, I'll be moving there in June, right? So I'll get the end of that. My storm shelter on my new house is 12-inch thick concrete with number 2 rebar, 6-sided. So, and it's a 16-foot by 9-foot storm shelter. So, and it'll also hold all my wife's wine. So,
I was just gonna head to the Buc-ee's down the street and just shelter there.
Shelter in place at Buc-ee's.
Yeah, at Buc-ee's.
David Hunt says he has a floor in the back, of course, for street stock, but I can't take it out for freestyle. Is my question. Can he take his rear floor out? Haven't had that question come up. If it just showed up to my show like that, I would say no. And then I would have to check with the other judges.
Is it like bare? Does it have any carpet or?
Well, so that's his question. Is he, even though it's 1K, is he competing in super street no wall rules, or is he competing in street stock rules? So that's essentially what his question is.
Right. I think the intent still for 1K was kind of stock.
Yes.
Not really so much as no wall with 1K limits.
Right.
Otherwise, I don't know of anybody who's doing big numbers no wall with 1,000 watts. So It's still, the intent is still kind of like a beginner or like that transition, starting then getting into like the bigger classes. So if that makes any sense there for you, David.
Okay. He says carpeted though. Yeah. Yeah, and he said exactly. That's what his question is do the rules follow street stock rules or super street rules?
And if you could, I think like the early, when we were first talking about clarifying the names for freestyle, I think there was even parentheses that said replacing this class or was formerly this class. So I think maybe take that for what it's worth, and kind of go by that.
We'll throw it in the judges chat, and we'll ask that question. I mean, that's a very reasonable question to ask. Let's see here, Dustin Wright. There's nothing beginner about street stock 1K, though, except for wattage. You ain't wrong.
Right.
I will tell you right now, as Wayne has always said, you stick a carrot out in front of somebody, somebody's going to do whatever it takes to get that carrot. That's not exactly what he said, but a representation of what he says. Anytime there's a carrot dangled out, You're going to find somebody who's going to find a way to exceed everybody else at getting that dang carrot. Is that close, Wayne?
Yeah, pretty close. And, there's no such thing as a entry-level class in DB drag racing. We've tried every permutation, every limitation, until finally you just have to face the reality that in DB drag racing, it's top tier contestants. And sometimes the people choose to go down because it requires more skill in some regards to make the big numbers. So because of all the limitations and restrictions. So, but speaking of freestyle, one of the reasons we created freestyle is to get people involved with competition. A lot of times people would go on the website and they would see DB drag racing scores, and nobody wants to go into the lanes and get beat by 36 DB. And, and that's what was happening. Somebody go and enter their daily driver in street stock class and they get stomped. But, if you look at all the people that are participating in some of the freestyle and even in the new Cyclone classes, I think they've really filled a niche, and you guys have done a great job promoting them. So good job.
Yep. Dustin Wright says, glad to see Wayne on. No entry level in DB drag for sure. Elite of the elite. And Steve Willows like, hey, that's right. Back to Joel Yabamit. The world traveler car stereo competition guy says, hello Wayne, looking forward to next season. We'll be having Pankadao world records and included as official format at World Finals. It's being spread out already. So I think he's asking, is it going to be an official format and offered at World Finals?
So that's a really good question. And this is the challenge with Pankadao, and also, to some extent with Cyclone. But Pankadao, if we're not in a facility like in the landing approach of a major airport, then you have to contend with the noise. And if it ever gets to the level it was down in Brazil, you could hear those cars miles away. So that's the challenge. So I'm sure that I don't want to give you the word salad, but here's the thing. If DB Drag Racing Association, we are happy to offer as many classes as finals as we can populate. So if you want to have something and you want the world records and you want the rings and everything else, we need to have participation. So if you want to get Pankadao going, talk to your friends, try to encourage the other contestants to enter the competition. Even in DB drag racing, people are always wanting, I want a class for this, I want a class for that. and I look at, there are some realities on how much time we have to work with. And I know, Fred Wright Jr.'s, in NSPL, he's like 96 classes. If I could do 96 classes, but I would like to see them full. So that's the only problem. So.
Yep. All right, here, this is awesome. I've been texting him lately and whatnot. Michael Mueller, Big Okie popping in. Says, damn. Yeah, he popped in the chat right there. Says, damn, I miss hanging out with you guys. Good to see over at social media. Keep up the good work. Yeah.
Hey, Okie. Good to see you, man.
Yeah.
Team Mini says he's had noise complaints 10 miles out.
What?
Participation trophies, as Steve Willis says. And at 1X events, it's hard to justify the cost of participation trophies. But at World Finals, it's just it's unfathomable. The cost per trophy. And I would be knowing this because I provided trophies quite a few years of World Finals. The per trophy cost is insane. I mean, Michael Mueller, he was providing trophies in Germany when he was being a judge. I don't think he was doing DB Drag. He was doing like Emma or something, right, Wayne? Wasn't he? Or he was doing a combination of multiple organizations, right?
Doug, here's the thing. We have such great sponsors for our finals. And every year, half the time, we don't even have an opportunity to send out a prospectus for the various sponsorships. The companies are already lined up, like for instance, Crossfire this year, Crossfire, Roger been bugging me for a long time to do the rings, and Incriminator couldn't do it this year. And so Roger stepped up and took it. But, the trophies, Def Bonds, they, their sponsorships allow us to provide these awesome trophies. Yep. And, let's be real. The people that go to the finals, it's not just going to the show. It's all of the effort earning enough points to be eligible. And then you have to take off from work. You have to drive. You have the gas costs, the hotel costs. And man, I don't know if you look, hotels are insane. I mean, they're getting really crazy and expensive. So we had such good support this year. We were able to we lowered our entry fees. I don't know if anyone even noticed that, but we tried to minimize the cost wherever we could. The additional formats are $50 instead of 75. So, and we wouldn't be able to do that. And the other thing you have to look at is we have 4 venues, so we have to rent 4 facilities, and we have to have 4 sets of trophies, and we have 4 the judging staff for 4 different locations. So it's we couldn't do it without the sponsors. And so I guess what I'm saying is, we're really appreciative for all the companies that have stepped up and helped out.
Speaking of which, if you guys get an opportunity to see one of the sponsors at the venue that you're at, go over, shake their hand, let them know you appreciate them sponsoring DB Drag. Like I say on our show every day, show them that there's value in what they do in supporting what we do as a hobby. Michael Mueller says, even if I'm away, I'm still with you. I keep trying to get him here on the show, and his response is he doesn't speak to people in English very much now, so his English is getting bad. I said, hey, dude, we'll talk once a week beforehand. We'll get you going.
For those of you that don't know, or for the people that don't know, Michael, the Big Okie, as he's known, he is in Germany. And every year at finals, he would literally put his competition car on a boat and then bring it to, Nashville, Tennessee, where finals was. So for those of you that I got to drive, 5 hours to finals, this dude literally from Germany put his car on a boat and then sent it to
and it would take a month and a half to get there.
Yeah. I could tell you some good stories about Oki, but I don't want to embarrass him. But here's the thing too, guys. We have some competitors in the Toronto area that are actually going all the way across Canada to compete at Ray's venue on the West Coast. So I mean, that's a long way. It's like 3,000. I don't know how far it is. It's a long way. And I think there's 3 or 4 competitors that are making that trip. And then, in Europe, following our show this weekend, we have our European Championship the following weekend. And this year it's in Thessaloniki, it's in Greece. So all of the competitors in Italy and Germany, I mean, that's a long, long way to get their vehicles over there.
Yeah. Michael says, I'm sorry, Doug. I'm not ready for being live yet. But one day. All right. Richard Ross had a question. He says, Wayne, it'd be great if you could make Chris Caudell and I not go against each other in the first round. But we have 0. It's literally a random generator.
It's random.
Lewis TVC, I need a little more to your question here. Can you explain extended runs at finals? And then
I think you might be talking about the expanded championship participation. I think the announcement Wayne had put a few days ago.
Oh, okay.
Sure.
Yeah, if you can explain that, Wayne.
Yeah, it's easy. Actually, if you went to the finals last year, let's just talk about each format. So in DB drag racing, we have 4 locations. And initially what we were going to do is we were going to take like the top 2 loudest competitors of all the locations. So not from each location. We would mix the scores from everywhere, and we're going to take the top 2 and then just run them, and that would be the winner. This year, we're going to do the 4 loudest. So we double the number of people. And so now, 4 people get to compete for the ring. So we just take the 4 loudest scores from DB drag racing and that can be, those are winning scores. So it could be either your qualifying, semifinals, final round. Those scores are going to be pooled together, and then we will choose the 4 loudest and enter them in a new bracket in part of a new contest. So that's how we do it in DB drag. But in base race, what we're going to do is take the first and second place winner from each location. So first and second in Texas, first and second in California, etc. So we'll end up having 8 competitors in each class, and those competitors will advance to part of a new competition, and we'll do a traditional base race competition where it's quarterfinals, semifinals, and finals. So in Top Dog is done the same way. Freestyle and Cyclone there is no secondary competition. So in freestyle and Top Dog, we only do the one competition on Saturday.
No.
I mean, sorry. Yeah, Cyclones. Sorry. Cyclone and freestyle. Thanks, Doug. We do the single contest on Saturday, and then whoever wins is also our champion.
Yeah. But I think you might have skipped Top Dog a little bit. So Top Dog essentially is the first, I'm reading here, first and second place winners from each location will advance. So it's kind of like base race. Right. I know Lewis is a base race and Top Dog competitor, so I think he's needed some clarification on that.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So base race and Top Dog, those will be done the same way. And now we just did another announcement today for the deathmatch competition.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you saw that. So Kickers sponsored deathmatch this year. We have a $1,000 prize, $1,000 winner take all. That's going to be the 4 loudest DB drag racing cars, regardless of location, will compete. And it's standard DB drag rules. So that means that the doors have to be shut, the sensors placed in the standard location, everything you would see in a normal DB drag racing competition. And deathmatch is a 5-minute average SPL. So, eventually we may be able to have like 8 or 16 cars, with the multi-venue software is really awesome. But
yep. Eric Hansen says, we're going to have so much fun this season. Woohoo. He's looking, I feel through doing the multi-venue twice already this season, and with World Finals behind it, plus all the years. I mean, I think 2007 was the first year we did the multi-venue, and we started doing it across multiple locations. Where we are now from then is, leaps and bounds. It's phenomenal, the changes that have been made. It is so fun with the opportunity that we're afforded as judges and competitors to compete over the internet against people that we never get the chance to. It's freaking awesome.
That's how I won my second championship. Was the first ever multi-venue, and I went up against a guy in France. I don't know if you guys remember that, but it's on my YouTube channel. But so to kind of see it as a competitor back then, to now being a judge, seeing how it works now, it's wow. It truly has come a long way. I remember in 2007 kind of having that waiting game type thing, but I think we're getting the bugs worked out. But now it's like bam, 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 bam type deal. So everybody knows what they need to do. This is the goal, and you need to get into the lanes. I think that was the big thing back then in 2007.
Yep. David. Oh, go ahead. Sorry, man. Go ahead.
I really like, the multi-venue stuff. And one of the things I've noticed is that the people at each locale or each of the venues, they team to root for the people that are part of their crew. So if you have somebody in California and he's going to get somebody in for instance, Kentucky, the guys in California are rooting for the guy in California. So it really brings everybody together. And I wish we could do it with the Europeans, but there's a 7-hour time difference between. And that's here. I mean, for Doug, it's like a 9 or so. I don't know if you guys remember that one year, those guys, it was 7 in the a.m. and they
on
were
Monday.
Yes, the show. I mean, that was crazy.
Yeah. David Hunt says, what determines the order in which we compete in the lanes or qualify in the lanes? Points, loudest score.
Well,
what is that?
Well, in DB drag racing, your qualifying time is based on when you register.
Yes.
So we register in reverse order. So the first to register is the last to qualify. And that is at each location. So we don't pool them together. So what we do is we look at all of the registrations in California, and then those are sorted by when they register, and we do reverse order registration. But the judges are going to give you the opportunity, if you're competing in multiple formats, let's say you're doing DB Drag and base race, or base race and top dog, or base race and whatever it is, and you go in the lanes, since you're in the lanes, they may give you the opportunity. If you're not, if it doesn't put you in a place you shouldn't be, they'll give you the opportunity to run, so you don't have to pull it back in.
Yep. Christian Jensen says, hello, Wayne.
Hello.
Chris Cardell. So the software has locked up during multiple rounds in base race, the last two, East Coast, West Coast. How will that be handled at finals? That's a good, reasonable question.
That's a good question. And I, was just talking to Jeffrey about this earlier today. So I did a simulation today, and I did 63 back-to-back automated tiebreaker runs without any kind of problem. So I suspect part of the issue is it's a networking issue, and we're going to resolve that for sure. I think at some of the shows we're using cellular connectivity or real poor connectivity, but that's not going to be the case this time. We have Wi-Fi at every facility, so we have high-speed internet, and it's not cellular. When you start with cell phones, they already have like a half a second inherent latency built in. But that is what I did and have been doing all weekend. The first thing I wanted to do is see if I could replicate the problem. So I have 4 term labs, and I run 2 of them all day today. I modified the software so that it produced 124 dB in base race, so that the random numbers won't throw me off. And I started on 2 computers, and it just went. And you know how long it takes to do that? It takes a long time to do 63 base race runs. But anyway, I really, of everything, the integrity of the officiating and the equipment is the things that I stress about the most. So here's what's happening. I'm like air traffic control this year. I'm in this office. I'm connected to everything. I'm communicating with all of the judges, and I'm doing the live stream. I have access to the server. If there's a problem, like what happened in base race, after like 8 or 10, I don't know what it was. We had 8 or 10 tiebreaker runs, and then the meter just didn't start, and the server was non-responsive. So we just told the competitors, stop. I reset the server, and then we started it up again. But I'm going to make sure there's a few other things. I don't want to bore you with the details, but I'm working on it. The other thing is, though, you got to remember what we're doing is incredibly complex, and it requires a lot of moving parts, and the technology is extreme. That's why we've been trying to get this working since the 2007 or whatever it is. But we did it last year and it worked good. This year, the show we just did with Tennessee and California and Texas, we had a lot of issues in the eliminations, but I think it was the network. So where we're gonna, you need to think of it almost like, also it's like a Las Vegas slot machine. If there's an equipment malfunction, then we're gonna stop that run, no matter what it is, and we're going to let the competitors go again. Now, that depends on the format. Like if we have a problem during, for instance, the death match, then you just need to, in fact, as a competitor, you need to run like it's a real competition unless the judge tells you to stop. Don't make, if you start seeing something that doesn't look right, you need to just keep on going until you're told otherwise. But hopefully we're not going to have any problems.
Yep.
So
we're going to bank on the no problems. Hope for the best, plan for the worst. Right?
I got the email from you, Wayne, and talking about, okay, this is the network, this is the Wi-Fi. Only your laptop needs to be on it. And I joke around. I think at the last multi-venue, I was like, everybody off the Wi-Fi, because that usually bogs it down, and it makes sense, just have one dedicated laptop, and then that should have the access to the Wi-Fi and nothing else. Then it really shouldn't have any problems.
It's not that we use a lot of bandwidth. The problem is the delay. We need to have, especially in these formats like, base race where timing is crucial.
Yes.
And so I'm not going to give the Wi-Fi password to anybody. We're going to have the Term Lab on there and the Zoom computers, and that's it. Nobody can watch Lady Gaga or whatever they're doing.
Exactly.
I mean, one time Ray was helping. Yeah, Ray was doing a test one time. He had Ray's our judge in Canada, and he had 2 computers set up, one on either side of the parking lot. And all of a sudden, it started working really poorly. And then I heard him yelling, "You guys get off the Wi-Fi!" And then he kicked everybody off, and it started working good again.
Michael Mueller says, "Oh yes, we had to be in the venue till after midnight sometimes.
Wow.
Not so fun, but we did it to survive." So I would disagree with you, Michael. That part, I do enjoy that. I don't know if Jeffrey did. We were talking to Dana about it. She would sit in the car, and Jeffrey would be in there working on his car till way after midnight. And
Oh yeah.
As competitors, we love that. I mean, that's part of what we do this for. Sam Dunn, good luck to everyone. Safe travels this weekend. See you in the lanes. Justin Stolman's guessing the password. Wayne 1234.
Gotta change it now.
Pop Tart popping in. Going to hold hostage to Darren when he arrives in Nashville. So he's going to get the Wi-Fi password. But yeah, no, that's really what it's about. One of the things I know Wayne kind of envisioned for Top Dog was having similar to what we did this last 2 weekends ago, where we have people all over the country of the world potentially, and we're doing one event, and it might pay $1,000 to the person who wins a Top Dog event.
Yeah.
And that's really, really good. That's a good one. I like this. Dustin says Pop-Tart went to a P. Diddy party, I heard.
Oh no.
Rick says, can we leave the trailer at the venue? Absolutely. We got places for that. People on the West Coast, I'm not sure, Jeffrey, but I think you have camping at your location too.
I'm not
checked,
not sure,
but
yeah.
On the West Coast one, 100% sure we have camping and it's available at the venue. And as a matter of fact, Rick, I got to talk to you. I think we're holding a competitor party at your trailer. So I just haven't told you yet.
Wait, what kind of trailer is it for his vehicle, or is it?
Oh, he's got both.
Camp?
He's got both.
Oh wow, okay.
And then Scott Lankus has his
big old
RV.
Winnebago, right?
Yes, yeah, where he tows his car behind that thing, And I think his is like a 40-footer or 39-footer or something. It's big.
Huge.
It's huge. It's a big old diesel puller.
You know, those finals events in California, I've been a couple of times, and I'm telling you, man, those guys, they got it going on. I mean, it's like a extreme tailgate party. Everybody's grilling and partying, and and laid back for sure. So they really have a good time.
Yeah.
And
And it's not, and we're not saying that's the right way to do it. It's the right way for us to do it. You know, Wayne came for Autorama a couple of times, and he was like, "Dude, I hope I don't get a drug test next week. 'Cause I'm not gonna pass." Just walking around the venue. But anyway, you know, like I said,
I think though it's setting precedents because I've had an SPL team out here say, "Hey, can we have a barbecue in the parking lot?" And you know, can we just sponsor the competitor party? I'm still getting all this authorized and stuff though, but yeah. So I think it's like you know almost human nature. They all want to just they realize how tough it is, all the stress, and they want to be able just to hang out and have fun after the competition. So you know, your guys are making it all it's contagious now.
yeah, well, you know, Crossfire, you guys do a great job. You grill burgers and everything. The few times I've been up to your shows, I mean, it's even even those shows were really fun, you know.
Oh yeah.
So Wayne, you said Crossfire's doing the rings. What other sponsors do we have this year? Let's talk a little bit about them.
Well, DefBonts is our presenting sponsor, and they're the trophy sponsor. And then, you know, Solis, there's so many. I definitely don't. Kicker stepped up big. They sponsored like a bazillion things. I don't know the specifics. All I know is, you know, she didn't give me a list, but, you know, we have excess power. Like everybody gets free electric. So, you know, you guys don't, you know, it's been quite a few years since you had to pay for electricity, but we used to have to charge like $50 or $75 for an electric hookup. But now that we've got sponsors, they pay for that. So it's not like the electricity is free. It's that the sponsor is stepping up and buying it so that you don't have to. So those are the kinds of things, you know, Incriminator, they've been a sponsor forever. They're the badge sponsor. You know, everybody you see on the screen there. Oh, DC Audio, man, I got to tell you. So for some reason, the facilities are really expensive in California. It doesn't matter where it is, it's expensive. And DC Audio is the venue sponsor for California. So we wouldn't have been able to, we got a really great facility there, and we couldn't have done it without their assistance. So I'm sure I'm probably leaving out somebody, but you know, sorry if I missed somebody, but
you know,
we really
it's cool to see
SPL
SPL teams. Like I see Tennessee Base Racers on the screen there. They sponsored the event. You know, I see Team Space for Base Moses out there in California sponsoring as well. So
DTX, right?
Yeah, DTX, exactly. Everybody, you know, pulling their own, sponsoring, help making sure we all have an awesome experience at finals. So thanks to those guys for sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna miss Moses, that's for sure. Boy, they were hammering me. That was the first time I ever had fireballs or whatever it was. What is that stuff? Yeah,
it was.
But you know, we drank. Okay, we consumed all the beverages in that bar, and you know, they had nothing left. We hammered the whole place. But
that's being talked about. You know, it's going to be talked about for ages. So it was a really cool time. Definitely.
Yeah, and the get-togethers are really great. And you know, I got to tell you, the Chris Gregory and the Tennessee Base Racers, they have such a great team of competitors, and they're probably going to have more as a team. They're probably going to have a larger percentage of the participants than anyone else. I mean, they started the season at finals last year. I mean, they were already thinking about their very first show. And they're going to have a lot of people at finals there this year. So,
and which means Rosa says, it was a good time, Wayne. I don't remember the drinks, though.
Yeah. I just remember you coming out with a tray and you're like, drink it, it's good. And I was like, oh, okay. I don't know what it is, but
That's so fun.
I'll take your word for it.
David Hunt says 25 plus for Tennessee base racers.
Oh, wow. Can't argue with those numbers.
No, so here's what I would like to say is, I mean, we give Team Send It crap on this show occasionally just because they're local. And this year they don't have very many people. But Tennessee Base Racers is the same thing, right? They went out, they found people, they educated people, and they brought them to the lanes. And as Wayne said, I've said, many people have said across time is, if everybody brings one additional person into the lanes with them, we double every show. If we can double every year, that would be phenomenal. We're looking for 30% growth, and that makes you a really good business model if you can get a 30% growth every year. So, and that really does, we can only do so much as judges and, Wayne as the owner, and, working on the technology, making it more robust and getting it out there for people to see it in different industries and whatnot. But it all really boils down to the competitors bringing people to participate along in the events. Right, Wayne?
For sure.
That's right. And making it fun, is going to help that. So if everybody gets together and has a good time, that's why, like the tailgate parties and the grilling burgers and actually creating teams makes it a lot of fun too. Especially if you can do road trip. So everybody, after a few shows doing the same show, same place, getting an opportunity to do a road trip and go visit some other judge, is a lot of fun. So, I mean, we're considering the condition of the economy this year. I think I've been really happy with the number of events that we've produced. The challenge is just getting people to make the commitment to go to the finals, and that's why we've done multiple venues, because it makes it easier or less painful to travel if there's a place that's you don't have to drive 1,500 miles.
Yep,
like the Canadians.
Yeah, I forgot what he said. Yeah, it was 8.5 hours for Team Mini one way for him.
Oh, wow.
And then somebody else, I think, was saying it was like 26 hours for them to go if they were going from Western Canada over to race shop. So
yeah, do you remember Ray? Those guys drove all the way. They drove all the way to the first venue, and then
Alabama.
The next weekend they drove all the way to California.
Yep.
I mean, they put in like, I don't even know, 100 hours of driving. I don't even know. It was insane.
Yeah, but they hit both the venues, right? And got their opportunity to win a championship. Rings. So the rings are going to be, we can't wait to see everybody at finals. Sean Mayo. Rings this year, same company and all that, or anything different this year?
They are. Yeah, so unless something...
Steve Willis
if
said...
they're going to, I think they're Balfour. If that doesn't work, but I think that's what they are. Sort of made by... This is something that's outside my scope of expertise. But I know that they're top tier rings. They're really, really nice, just like last year. So...
Yep. Steve Willis said 120 hours is what Team Mini said.
Wow.
I mean, that's some window time. I will say at the West Coast finale, our final show here in the West Coast, we did most likely the last event ever at Nyman's parent shop at Mello's Auto Repair. So we did that show 2 weekends ago. And Nick Stone was out there, and so was Leo Valdez. And I told, because Leo literally lives around the corner from there, like I bet you it's not even a mile away. And so Nick Stone having the world record in Cyclone demo wall class, I asked Leo to go pick up his ring and bring it by, and so he did, and showed Nick, and Nick was like, "Dude, that's awesome." And Wayne, you probably haven't heard me say this, but I do mention it quite often. And I would have retired from doing DB drag stuff a long time ago, but the opportunity to give the guys that are around here, you call them your friends, and the other people, just taking that opportunity away from somebody to win that ring that only one person a year gets for each class. I mean, there was no way I could do that. And that's how come, that's honestly the reason I haven't stepped away in years past. And as you know, with all judges that we have, I don't care, Yinis, myself, Jeffrey maybe, but, we've had a lot of people that don't like us for judging or making a decision, but we feel as a group, whatever, that those decisions are the right decisions for what we do. And just so everybody knows, very, very rarely does a judge make a decision on their own. If I can't think of one that's happened since I've been judging. It's a committee thing. We talk about it. We come to a conclusion. Whether we don't like the decision or not, that's inconsequential. The decision is the decision for us as a group. So, and I think Wayne can attest to this. He's been around other organizations, and I think that sets us apart from other organizations. I think our judging staff and DB Drag are a special group of guys that, through the years, Wayne and Sleece has put together to make a exemplary judging staff. Would you agree with that, Wayne?
Yeah, we're really fortunate to have such top tier individuals as part of our organization. And I mean, you've been doing this for decades, and Jeffrey's been doing this for decades. And a lot of the people that are involved with DB drag racing, and just so you know, I mean, we are a true international organization. Mm-hmm. So we have representatives pretty much everywhere. A lot of these people, they started out as business associates, but have now become lifelong friends. And I have the greatest respect for mostly everybody that's, in fact, all of the people in our organization. But, I'm biased for sure. I think we have the elite, the royalty of car stereo competitors. I mean, really, the DB drag, our group of competitors are the royalty. And I think if you talk to pretty much anybody in the 12-volt industry, they will tell you the same thing. And I'm not dissing the other guys, but I think our presentation is better. Our judging staff is more professional. Our technology is light years ahead of anybody else out there. Our finals are the best ever. And so, I mean, and I could just go down the list. Now, that doesn't mean, there's always a squeaky wheel, and there's, the one thing alluding to what you were talking about, sometimes, competitors, it's hard being a judge because when somebody's happy, they don't say anything, Sometimes the competitors come up after the show and they thank you and shake your hand, and that means a lot. But a lot of times the judges have a bullseye on their jersey. And, if they make a tough call, the competitor is not happy. And that just tells me the competitor's passionate about what they're doing. So it's okay to be passionate, but they may not like you making a call, Doug, but they will respect you for making the call. Yeah. Whereas I've been to other shows where there's pretty much anything goes. And the rules are whatever the competitor wants the rules to be. And so we're just not going to go down that path. No. We've been doing this is 30 years. My first DB drag event was in 1994.
As part of I.A.C.A, right?
Wow. Yeah, actually, it wasn't I.A.C.A, but it was co-located at the I.A.C.A finals. Okay. So I.A.C.A at the time, and believe me, so we could spend a lot of time doing this history stuff. I was on the original founding board of something called NACA, which was the predecessor to IASCA. And then I was also on the board for IASCA in the very beginning, before it even started. But there was no interest in SPL. It was all sound quality. And I like sound quality. Wow. I made my living designing audio products had to sound good. But there's just, I remember distinctly going to an IASCA finals in like, I don't know where it was, San Bernardino or somewhere, and you could hear a pin drop. And I'm like, okay, this is a geriatric convention. It is not happening. And so, SPL was a thing, and a lot of people contributed to the concept of it, but we were able to co-locate with that IASCA World Finals in Dallas. I think it was in Dallas in '94, but without dating myself, my first championship was '84. I won first place in 1984. Dude, yes, 40 years ago. I think it's like my daughter, she's like, ancient, Dad, ancient. So I don't know where the time went, but full circle, I think everybody on here knows that once you're in this community, it's a tight-knit community of friends, and we're in the Goldilocks zone where we see people just enough, but not too much. Maybe sometimes too much, but for the most part, we're in the Goldilocks zone.
Yeah. Jeffrey, Dustin Wright wants to know what time can he set up on Saturday in Texas? So what time do the doors open?
I think he meant that as a joke, but you can go and take a look at the competitor list. He's clearly signed up for Kentucky. It'd be cool to have him in Texas, which I think he's just pulling Eric Hansen's leg that he's going to be in Texas. But I think it's like 10 a.m. is the roll-in time for Saturday. If you're really gonna be there, Dustin. But I guess whenever you get there, that's when you can set up.
And so this is the thing that anybody that's going to the finals, Saturday's just going to be like a normal show.
Right.
Just think about going to a triple point event. We're going to do qualifying, semifinals, everything, in finish. So on Saturday, it's a normal contest. Sunday's the head-to-head stuff, the multi-venue stuff.
Yep. Dustin says it was a mistake. Sleece is going to fix it for him.
Sure. But to talk about the competitor list, early on this week, I think when Sleece had first put it on, it was like 125 competitors. I'm just looking at it right now. It now says 129. So we have 4 people last minute sign up. So thanks to those guys procrastinating and getting our numbers up. But keep an eye on those participant numbers for sure.
And if you've already registered, and then you want to add an additional format, you changed your mind. Say you only signed up for one format, but you're qualified for 2. You can go in the online store and actually add. It's still possible to add those other formats.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. Roberto out of Mexico says he was only 6 years old when you made your first championship.
Not good.
Justin Stolman says his Integra will be a Vallejo for demos. Speaking of demos, if you're going to go to the Vallejo location, and I believe the Dallas location, we're going to allow you guys to have some demo space inside the venue if you would like to. But it is a $50 fee if you want to park it inside the venue and do demos in there. There's going to be limited restrictions. Like if I have like the 129 guys going head to head, we don't want a demo on that. But other than that, typically, demos are free reign, at least in the California location. So
I kind of had to pass on that.
Okay.
For the Texas location, only because I felt that it was going to take up a lot of our resources.
Okay.
If it was something that we could have planned earlier, I got all these ideas with like SPL teams to kind of govern themselves and There was another organization that does this at their finals. Um, so there are some hurdles for sure that I've seen with
Okay.
that. So for this year, it's not to say that we might not do it, in next year's or later on, but for this year, no demos going to be in Texas. Sorry about that, guys.
All right. Pop Tart says we're gonna try and keep demos to a minimum in
Ah,
Kentucky. I wonder
I
where.
mean,
Oh, wasn't it Gary Killian's birthday today or yesterday or something like that?
I think so.
So yeah,
Yeah,
happy
happy
birthday,
birthday, Gary.
Gary! If you're tuning in here, Chivo is using my car for base race and cyclone since I'm working on his car. No demos, bro. From David Wayne Hunt. Um, but yeah, no, that like I said, those are cool things.
Mhm.
Eric Hansen wants to know, can he do 119.9 for top dog? Absolutely, you can,
Yes.
Eric. If you want to do that, you do that.
Well,
That
I don't know. I mean, if you judge his performance the last time he did 119s, I mean, he might have, you know, gotten it down though now. But yes, you're more than welcome to do 119s. You could do
That just
39s.
that seems really risky. If you're
Yes.
doing
Yes.
119 and then you have a demo car, or
Yes.
even if the guy next to you is doing 159, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
they could really take you out,
And
Yes.
make you break out for sure.
yes.
So when we first started the top dog thing, I had very specific vehicles that can do 59 nines all day long, and they would always park to the right side. They would always get the lane on the right. So if for whatever reason they busted out, they would just open their door and start wanging on their system to try and spike the
Yes.
mic of the 129 guy that was next to him.
And the
So
guys in Texas that I tell this to, I tell
no,
them it's also known as the California rule because I mean amongst all the other rules that became a rule was because California had it a certain way and
yeah.
but yeah, so that's definitely you're not lying, Wayne. And I've seen it done. And it's a strategy that not too many people know about, but it's definitely out there. So it is for sure risky.
DB Don posting in. Ray Choi's birthday is October 4, and his is October 5th.
Oh.
So we'll be during the finals. It'll be Don's birthday. You coming to California, Don? I know you're not, but he's a good dude. If you guys don't know DB Don, we're gonna get him on here again. He wants to talk about box design, so we'll get him on here again. And he thinks you guys are missing the boat on some stuff, and he'll like to help clear it up for you. At least give you guys some ideas. Um,
Don, those guys in up in Toronto, in DB Don's part of that. They've had huge attendance at their shows this year. I mean,
oh
huge,
yeah.
massive. Yeah, lots, tons of competitors. So good job.
Rosa says if Moses is running two, hold on. If Moses is running two formats that are not base race or top dog, can I use his vehicle? Just making sure. So he wants to do freestyle DB drag with his FJ, and she wants to run his FJ for base race and top dog. That's the question. That's a question for you, Wayne.
That's a tough.
It
I'm going to
is.
defer that to the fish to the judges. So because I don't want to say something that's inconsistent. Normally, we don't let people share vehicles, but I was talking to Ray and he said that that's kind of common.
Mhm.
So sometimes I know when people travel, they can take out a rental car and build a box in it or whatever and compete that way.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we definitely need to get some clarity on that. And, the competitor, I mean, we're going to have to revisit this whole team thing next year, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
I agree.
I think there's some real things. There's some things going on that, like with teams, that I don't feel comfortable with.
Okay.
But I'm not going to dictate. But I think we need to figure out something, and you guys need to
Yeah, this
find
was
an answer
actually
for Rosa. You know.
this was brought up in the judges forum not too long ago, and I actually replied with a an image with a meme, I guess, of there's three ones. So it's a one competitor, one format, one vehicle. So I think if you go by that, yeah, she's able to do that as long as you know as long as Moses and Rosa aren't doing that same format together.
Yep.
Yeah, she can use um, Moses' car in base race and top dog.
Yep.
So, I mean, there's a lot of complexity in this topic.
Yes.
So, like I would say that if Rosa was a member and Rosa competed all year long in those formats and essentially earned those points, that's one thing. If Moses used his vehicle and competed all year round and got all those points, and then is just letting her run the vehicle as a different entry, a different name. I mean, see, these are the things that make it complicated for me to figure out. Pretty much eventually every competitor needs to be competing with their own vehicle in the classes where they've earned the points themselves. So pooling vehicles and pooling points and stuff like that makes me feel a little bit like maybe we're circumventing the
Right.
intent.
And there's also that rule in every DB drag rule book since day one is, any attempts to circumvent the rules could result in a disqualification, right? So,
But like team vehicles, a
Right.
team, you could have different operators, but there has to be somebody that's the primary contestant.
right.
So anyway, Rosa, I probably really have just thrown mud on this. I'm not going to be the one. I'm going to leave this up to the judging. The judges probably already know the answer, actually, and they'll let you know. I'm sure it'll be fine.
Yep. Justin Stolman says they're engaged, so technically it's her car too in the state of California. So, yeah, team member compete. Anyway, that's what we got going on. No my bads. And Tyler Archer says it's a very complicated question, and he's not wrong. It is. So, but I think, like I said, as judges, the 1-1-1 rule that Jeffrey was saying tends to work very well, right? The only place that the vehicle is certified is in DB drag. So, and then the other formats, it's the person. So that's a little different, but still, it's very clear and straightforward. In DB drag, the vehicle with the name has to have been to one certified multi-point event and acquired a score to compete in that class. So, and just thinking back to Big Okie, he was like the first guy. Like when he started and base race started, he would just fly across the globe, right, from Germany here, and then he would borrow Sam Horn's thing vehicle, the VW thing, and he would literally come show up, and they would build it at Sam's house on Thursday, and then Friday night they would drive it to World Finals and start competing on Saturday morning. So, but anyway, go ahead. Go ahead, Jeffrey.
Oh, I was going to say there's that term, points chaser. I think that probably originated from what was going on. But yeah, I mean, like you said, there needs to be a certified score in that vehicle, which it also says, you don't have to be locked into that. You're encouraged to go to other multi-point events and better your score and and also get points. So there's definitely more to that.
Okie says, yeah, the thing that really is that was really a thing. LOL. All right, guys. So Wayne, any final thoughts?
Well, first of all, I want to congratulate everyone that's going to be going to the finals up front. I always have to say this. Please drive safely. It never fails. This is what I also don't get. People have been tweaking their vehicles all year long, and then the week before finals, they tear everything out and start over. I don't think that's an optimal solution. Make sure you're ready to compete when you get to the show. Respect the judges, respect the facility, be sure and clean up after yourself, but have a great time. If you're competing in a power limited class, make sure that you can meter your system consistently, that there's not any problems with that. If you have any problems, if you're traveling, you have an emergency, you're welcome, and you can't find anybody to help or you can't get a hold of anybody, give us a call here at the office, and we'll try to connect you with somebody to get you taken care of. So
where can people watch it if they are not competing? They want to watch it online?
Okay, sure. The easiest way to find the YouTube channel is on your browser. Just type in dbtv.com, dbtv.com, and it'll take you right to the YouTube channel where it'll be streamed. And so we're going to be streaming that on Saturday and on Sunday. Saturday is just independent competition. I'm going to try to find some, I'm going to try to get Yenis and maybe some other people to get in there and do some dialogue with me to keep things moving along. And then on Sunday, you'll be able to see not just the cameras, but also the scores and the leaderboards and everything else, just like last year. So,
Jeffrey, yes. Eric Hansen says, ask him the question.
Oh, no. I had this thing. So, I feel like I'm not worthy sometimes to ask specific people that question. It's like I don't have the qualifications, and Wayne is that person. It's like, he's lived that basehead life so long, and it's like I can't just ask him, type thing. So, but I'll give it a shot. I don't think it was in the script here, but Wayne. So this is a question that we ask all of our guests, and I guess I have to ask you now. Basically, we want to know what is your definition of a basehead.
If you Google basehead, you better see my picture. That's all I can say. So, when I was building the Terminator, I was living on a $20 per month food budget. And I was buying $1,000 amplifiers, and that was when money was worth something, And so, boy, things have really. I thought I had built some good stuff, but when I see this stuff that people are doing now, if you want to know what a basehead is, you just go to a DB drag racing competition, and you'll be enlightened.
Yes, yes, I like that definition.
So I just Googled basehead. Dude, it's all EQs. Baseheads don't use EQs. The entire page is a whole bunch of 12 band EQ, 30 band EQ, 4 band EQ. Wrong kind of basehead.
The left side of the EQ is what the baseheads use anyway.
That's right.
Well, even extending past that.
It'd be good to see for you guys someday to do some kind of meeting like this and find out what got people involved in car stereo. What was the trigger that made you jump in?
So that's the question. We ask that question to every new guest. So, hey, what song was it? What was that moment, right? Or who was the influence? Was it your uncle, your dad? What made you who you are today? And that question, and then another question we like to ask always for on here too is, I'll ask you this question. Why don't you answer this real quick? I know we're running a little bit long, but sometimes it's worth it. So when you're dead and gone, not that anybody wants that, but what do you want your legacy to be in this world?
Oh boy. All I ever wanted was a happy life and a happy family. Really, that's all I wanted. But yeah, I don't want to. I don't have a quick and easy solution or answer for that.
Right.
You know, I guess here's the thing, the way I would like to be, my contribution, I think this would be an honor for me. When I look at people like Roger Bridges and many, many other people who have gone on, they started as a DB drag racing competitor. They went on and became successful business owners. They work for major corporations. Here's an example. I was at CES a couple of years ago, and this guy came up wearing a suit, and he had two bodyguards with him. And he walked up to me, and he introduced himself, shook my hand. He goes, "I just want to thank you for getting me interested in car audio." And he was a senior VP of Sirius XM. So he told me that everybody always has a story of what either it was DB drag racing, or everybody's always reminding me they saw the Terminator and it got them involved. So that's the thing. That would be my contribution, is that I put the fire in people to make them continue, pursuing their dreams and their interests. And if it's car stereo, I think that's a great testament to what we've been able to do.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you've got JP, or not JP, sorry, Scott Owens, Scotty Johnson,
yeah.
Nick Wright, DC Audio, Rusty Flowers, DD Audio. They started out as competitors and turned to DD Audio. It's just the look at the names that are on the sides of you: XS Power, Sundown, DC, DTX, Space for Bass, DD Audio. Kicker is about the only one that wasn't a brand started from stereo competition.
Interesting, yeah.
Crossfire Car Audio, I don't know how they started, but I will say because of car audio competition, their customer base expanded exponentially when the CFA 1000s came out. I mean, good Lord, right? I mean, I never even heard of Crossfire before that. So, Earthquake, another one that just expanded their customer base due to car audio. So, I mean,
the thing is too, Doug, I mean, and it's also like you guys. I mean, so, from the very beginning of doing one DB drag racing event, like if you look at the calendar and you see like in 98 or 94, we did like 8 shows, and then, and now, we're coming up on over 25,000 events, and we have, who knows, over 100,000 people participated, and all you guys that have started businesses as turnkey event promoters. So, I mean, it's definitely, a huge industry, and it's cool that it's a big multi-billion-dollar industry, not DB drag, but 12 volt, but it's a small community of people, movers and shakers. And so we're lucky to be a part of that.
I agree. I do. Like I said, that's like I said at the beginning, that's a lot of what has kept me in this industry now. I started in 2001 as a judge, 99 as a competitor, and still doing it 25 years later. Like I said, I like to think that I had a big thing to do with California and growing and influencing judges. Obviously, like Jeffrey said, the way he runs his show was influenced by me. Some other judges out there, they're like, this is what I do is influence them. So that for me is part of the reason I just keep going. So, and obviously my respect for you and Celise and what you guys do and how helpful you guys are with everybody else, beyond just DB drag stuff, I can call you or Celise and, just have conversations about other stuff, prepping or, stuff like that. And, Celise helped me out here and there with a couple of bowling shirts and just, stuff like that is, stuff you don't just fall into. It's a community that's been well developed over many years. So we do appreciate that. That's all I could say about that. So
yeah, well said.
Yes.
Jeffrey, any
Yes.
last words, sir?
I want to say to the Texas competitors,
Mm-hmm.
check your emails. Okay, Celise is gonna come out with like the times, everything you need to know about competing at finals. I mean, that's why Wayne's here today too, talk about that. But definitely check your emails, check your messages. I'm going to try to do my best to, get the information out there and available to anybody who needs it. But yes, definitely use that as a conduit to make your finals experience that much better. So check those emails.
Yeah.
Jeffrey, to follow up on that, if everyone would just go to termpro.com and then click on the finals banner at the top, that once you do that, it'll take you to the World Finals homepage. On that page, there's a button that says contestants. You need to click on that and make sure that you're in all of the formats that you think you're competing in. So you want to verify that you're on the list and you're in the correct classes.
Yep.
So,
and if you think you're close in points and you want to check it out, I'm sure Jeffrey or myself or Celise, anybody could help you with that. Like, you can go in and see your points and say you only have 39 points. And you're like, man, I know I went to more shows than that. The way the Term Lab records your name is if somebody accidentally double spaced between Jeffrey and Fernandez, or somebody did Jeff Fernandez or Jeffrey and then misspelled Fernandez or misspelled Jeffrey, those all become individual competitors. And so if that happens, we can combine those to make sure you get the points that you need to do World Finals. So just saying that out there. I had 2 competitors that I had to do that with this year. In the past, I've had to do a lot more because teams would be like XS hyphen SPL, XS space hyphen space SPL. Those names drive Wayne nuts. And I told him how he can fix it, but it just takes a lot of time to write the programming to put a database together, so you just click on a name. So it's not as easy as just magically making it happen. Mm-hmm. Big Okie says, man, the names, it's still an issue. It is every year, Michael. But for me, hey, man, looking forward to this weekend. For me personally, I'm going to get out there. I'm going to do World Finals Saturday, Sunday. Got to drive to Vegas because I got a bowl Monday morning. And then I got to be back and bowl Monday morning, Tuesday day, and need to be back to work by 4 a.m. Wednesday morning. So I'm going to be doing the turnaround trip. But, man, really looking forward. I like to hang out with the base guys. Definitely going to do some kind of hanging out at Ricky's trailer. Last year he brought... It was a projector TV, and there was a fight going on. Right. There was a fight. No, you weren't. Were you there last year?
No, I was in Owensboro.
Oh, that's right. So there was some fight that was going on the same day as World Finals on Saturday. So we all went to his trailer, and he had the fight up on his big old trailers on the whole side of his trailer. So I'm sure we'll get something like that going again. Richard Ross says, just remember Tennessee base racers. So I think he's calling it out. So
okay.
He says Owensboro is the only venue. The hatred. The hatred. All right, guys. We went super long today. I want to thank Wayne Harris. Wayne, thank you for being part of this. I want to thank Badass Sounds by C Bass, Stolman Transportation, and E-Box Design and Install. Once again, if you guys got an opportunity to purchase something, purchase it from somebody who supports the things that you like to see, hear, watch, and do. Without them, it makes it harder to do these other things. So please, if you do purchase them, let them know that you saw them on T.W.I.C.A or This Week in Car Audio, or even if it's one of the sponsors for World Finals, once again, just walk up to one of those guys and shake their hand and say, hey, thank you for sponsoring World Finals. That goes much further than you guys will ever imagine. If you guys go to a single point 1X show in somebody's parking lot, whoever is hosting that event, that is such a big deal. I mean, any judge can tell you, finding a location is huge. If you guys get the opportunity, please thank somebody for having us out there and hosting a place for us to go and play. So with that being said, I want to thank everybody for being here tonight. Thank you, Jeffrey. Thank you, Wayne.
Thank you.
We will see you guys next week on This Week in Car Audio. Peace. We out.